Well, good evening, everyone. It's Saturday evening. It's Helen here, as promised. It's 7:30, and I promised to do letter J. I've had a busy day, so I couldn't do it this morning. But if any of you are out there and want to join me, do feel free. Hopefully, you'll get notification that I'm going live, and I'll be able to see some comments come through in a little while. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Saturday evenings particularly are probably very precious to people. So let's get straight on. What do we need? We need our Simply Words stencil, the large one. And following that, we are going to need our normal 03 fine liner Sanntangle pen, our mechanical pencil if you've got one, the Sanntangle mechanical. If you haven't, your 2B pencil is exactly the same. You will need a tortillon. Hi Sue, I can see you. Susan, hi. Yvonne, hi. The tortillon here as well that I have. And then you will need your regular tile. So I'm just going to move these things out of the way. I've got my ruler in case I need it, but I'm not sure I will. And then the other thing that I've got here is 3 of the new coloured fine liner pens. And I have got the raspberry, the green and the orange. Now this is the lighter green, not the darker green. I've gone for the slightly lighter colours. You can choose your own colours when you see what I'm doing, but I thought these would work quite well. So what I'm going to do is start with showing you where to start with the letter and where we're going to place it on the tile. I've already penciled it in slightly where I want it to be, and then I'm going to switch to a tile that I've already got the letter in. So what I would always do with these alphabet letters is, it depends where you want to place it, but usually find your midpoint of your tile, and hopefully then you can't really go wrong with the rest of what I'm going to show you. So letter J, where I want to place this today is a bit lower to the bottom of the tile. So hopefully you can see where I'm pointing. Just a bit lower. I don't want it right in the middle. I want it a little bit close to the bottom. And then I'm going to put my stencil where I want it. And this is my midpoint. I might just try and zoom in a little bit so you can see where I'm going with it. So this is my midpoint, as you can see, my centre point. And I've then got my letter where the top of the J is. I've got my letter there over the midpoint. And all I'm going to do on this one with my pencil is go down the side and along, and down the other side of the J where the sock bit curves, and along. I'm not going to draw the full letter. I'm not going across the top, and I'm not going across the side. So it's quite open. So there you've got what I'm calling my letter J. I'm just going to, because I didn't quite place it the where I drafted it. So I'm just going to rub that bit out. And then what I want to do, I don't want to keep it, because these letters are block capitals. Okay, so like the L, if you can see the L, it's quite block straight capitals. The J has got a curve in the sock, but I don't want a straight block end. So what I'm going to do is turn my card, and I'm going to do, I want to make it like almost like, I'm going to join these two together here, make that a bit more curved, and I want to make it more like a loop coming around, so it's like almost like a big toe, if that makes sense. So I want to bring it, let me just turn it that way and see if I can do it this way for people to see. So I want to bring it around and just make it like it's got a big loop and a big toe, something like that. You will probably want to play around with it and put some curves in it, and you will need an eraser. I'm sure you've all got those handy anyway, but just to make it more curvy. So I don't want it square. I don't want a square letter. I want it curved. Okay, so I want to start with that. Now, when you're happy with that, just that point on its own, just that section, put a little curved lip either side where your straight lines are, just like that, and then pen it in. Now, what I've done, and I'm going to work on this one, I've got a background one that's been inked. I've had this one hanging around for a while, and in black pen I've done this one with a black 03 fine liner, and I've come in and gone round my pencil. Now here I've got a little bit of extra, I've thickened it up a little bit here, because that's a guiding point which I'll take you through in a minute for other things that I want to do. So almost straight away I'm going to go all freehand, and I'm going to go straight in with my, I'm calling this raspberry pink. I don't actually know if it's got a name, but I'm calling it raspberry pink. And I'm going to start in my toe. Okay, so we're almost going straight in today so that you can start getting your patterns in without hanging around and with very little construction. So, because I'm not a construction kind of girl. So what I want to do is start somewhere here on the left hand side of my curved big toe, if you like, of the J, and I'm going to follow this curved line. So I'm going to put a curve in, just like that. And then I'm going to, where my flick is, I've just put a flick in, I'm going to come back and do another one, okay? And then I'm going to take my same coloured pen, and I'm going to start where I've just done a slightly thickened bit here on the curve. I'm going to follow that through with my raspberry pink, and I'm going to do what I call a whirligig loop, just to put a pattern in there. Then I want to switch. I'm going to switch colours, I think, and I'm going to go to the orange. So let's do that. I'm going to go to the orange. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap here because I want to do something else with a different colour in a minute. But what I am going to do here with my orange, I'm going to turn my tile. I'm going to start around this area at the bottom towards the right. I'm going to do a loop in orange, and I'm going to follow it round, and then I'm going to do a loop inside. Nothing desperately difficult here. Everyone's good at loops, we can all do that. And then what I want to do in the middle of this loop is do what I call a whirly curl. Just a whirly curl going down and round. In this gap that we've created, this row here, I'm just going to do some little bubbles. Nothing, not too many, but just a couple of bubbles. Okay. And then I'm going to turn my tile back. So we've got a couple of colours going on. Then I'm going to switch to my green, my light green, by the way, not the, because there's two greens in the coloured fine liner set. And then I want to follow through from this orange loop that I've done. I want to do another whirligig like this one here, but I'm going to take it in the opposite way. So I'm going to go up and round. Hopefully you can see that. Hi, thanks Yvonne, I can see you joined. Thank you for watching. That's great to have you there, thank you. And then I want to do something similar. Again, coming off as this stem here on the bottom left, and do another one. Just do it round, nothing major. And then I want to do something on this left side. I'm going to go up and round. I want to try, it's not a circle, I want to try and do a bubble, but I want to make the bubble fit the whole width of this letter J. I don't know if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, because I can't turn my wrist far enough, what I want to do is follow it this way. So I'm going to go around and make it one big bubble, okay? And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, that's not what I'm looking for. But then I'm going to switch back to my pen, and you can choose any three colours or pens or pencils, whichever way you want to do it. Turn my card again, and I'm going to do another bubble inside. But I'm not going to do a bubble in centrically. I'm going to start at the bottom and bring it around so it comes back to the point on this left hand side. And then I'm going to flip to my raspberry pink and do something similar right in the middle. Another circle bubble, which becomes more of a loop, and it doesn't matter if it's offset or if it's uneven. It's just for something to decorate that part of the letter with. I will then want to, where we've got the two lines, you'll see one is slightly taller than the other. What I want to do is almost like an arc coming from this top left one down below where this line finishes. So I'm not going to join it, I'm going to bring it further down in green. So that's my light green. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my orange. Sorry, I just cut across the camera with my arm. Back to my orange with a bubble and just put it in the middle. Then I'm going to take the green and I'm going to do another one of those whirligigs, and I'm going to go from the right hand side and bring it across and through. Alrighty, hopefully everybody can see that so far. What I wanted to do as well, we've got this gap still down at the bottom, so I'm going to turn my card the other way to the left this time, and I'm going to think about, I want to think about this section here where I put my thickened line. So what I want to do here is another whirligig, but I'm going to go from this thickened line out into the J and bring it round. So let's do that. So you've got that there. Okay. Then what I want to do is stand some whirligigs up, but on the outside of the letter. So I'm going to go probably almost in this corner, I would say. Bring it up and round. And then I want to bring another one up and round. And then a smaller one just at the bottom. And I want to thicken that one up. And then the toe, where my finger is right now, the toe, at the tip of the toe, I want to do another couple of these whirligigs. So I'm going to go up and round at the top of the toe, up and round again. So it looks like you've got something coming off the end of his toes. Okay, now the other thing that I want to do is go back to my raspberry pink, and I want to put something here, just a little bubble in the middle, and I'm going to fill it in just to make it slightly different. And then what I want to do, I kind of took a bit of inspiration from Sandra's New Year's tile. I don't know if you remember, gosh, that was a couple of months ago now, time flies. She did a champagne bottle with the cork exploding. So I'm not going to do that, but I took a bit of inspiration from that design, and I want to do something that looks like it's coming out of the top of the J. So where my head was at with this was almost like something that potentially would give us the impression that we've got fireworks coming out of the top. I know it's not November the 5th, but I thought it would just be a bit of fun to do this. So following my right hand side of the J first, I'm going to use my orange pen, my light orange, and I want to do a bit of a whirligig coming out here. And then I want to do something a little bit straighter, going up and around again, the same direction to the right. Then I want to do one coming out on the left. And then I want to do something that is a bit more curly coming out to the left as well. And then I thought, well, yeah, that's great. Let me see what else I can do. So you can see I've still got something sticking out on the right hand side of the J. So I want to follow that line through, and I want to put a little loop on the end. Okay. And then I also then want to do some little bubbles, going smaller as you get further out. I've done 4, so just to give it some point of interest. And then on the left side as well, I wanted to do a loop. So I'm going to do another one. I'm not going to put bubbles on the end. I'm going to put them down the stem. Then I wanted to, I thought, well, this is looking very different and very abstract, which is fine. Then I wanted to change colour. So I've gone back to my green, my light green. And I wanted to put some loops in between the whirligigs, as I call them. So let's do that. Let's get some loops going in here. And we'll put one here. And I think I want to put one here. So they're just dotted about. They're a bit random. There's no pattern or order to any of them. And then the other thing that I thought would be good to do, sorry, I'll just need to clear my voice, forgive me, been talking a lot today. Then what I wanted to do was add some more, almost a line and some dots just shooting out. Dots and a line shooting out. Curve them out here, curve them out here, and do the same this side, just to give it a bit of interest and a bit more decorative pieces. Okay, and then I wanted to give the impression of maybe something like, I call them shooting stars, you might want to call them whizzy spiders. We used to have fireworks called spider whizzes, I think, when I was a kid. So and they always came out looking like, they used to spin around and whiz and then look like a shooting star. So I want to bring, I've got my normal regular pen now, my O3 fine liner. So I'm going to just try and put a couple of shooting stars in dotted around. There's no pattern to these, they're just random. So I wanted to do a short line and then a curve. And then I'm going to do a dot. And then I'm going to just draw lines off the spidery dot, because it sometimes does look like a spider. And then maybe another one coming that way. And do something similar. Do a dot, do a line, almost like you're doing crisscrosses over, and then just fill them in. And then I'm just going to go back to this one and put some dots on. And then I want to do something on this side as well, on the top left. And I'm going to, on this one, I'm going to just, let me see where I can go with this one. I'm going to go to the very top where this white edge is. So I'm turning my card. And what I'm going to do here is a bubble, just a bubble, nothing else. Go around it a couple of times if you want to. And then I'm going to just draw spiky lines off the end. I say just. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put dots on the edge. So it looks like you've got something just in the sky. It's not a sun, it's not a moon. It's just something there that looks like a sparkly kind of firework of some sort. And then also what I thought would be good is to do a shooting star, but not coming down. I want to go up with this one. And this is going to be random. So it's a little line and a curve and a dot and some lines and some shorter lines in between. And then I'm probably going to do one maybe going the opposite way, going out towards the edge of the tile, just to give us a bit of space and fill it in here. Okay. So I think I wanted then to perhaps do something slightly different on this side in between these two shooting stars. So I'm going to draw a bubble, and this time I'm just going to put dots around it. You can tell it's been a long day, can't you? There you go. And I want to then go back to, I'm just going to put the lid on my black pen. I want to go back to my raspberry pink, because I want to go back to here, to this toe. So you can see where we've got this, we put a couple of curved lines in, didn't we? And then you can think about putting a pattern in there if you want to. So as we've gone for loops and curves and whirligigs and everything else, there's all sorts of different things you can put in here, but we could put some curves going in the opposite direction. And if you wanted to, you could then fill it in. You can fill it in with the raspberry pink if you want, or with the black. I'm going to leave it open at the moment. And I've also thickened up this line, this bottom edge here. And there's no reason for that. I just wanted to go over it a couple of times. And you can do this with any of the letters, actually. You can just have them exploding. You can have them completely sealed and full on, leave them open, put your own tangles to it. You can do whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do any shading on any of these patterns. I'm just going to do a little bit of graphite, apply a little bit of graphite on the outside of the letter. Okay, and I'm going to hopefully you can see where I'm going with my graphite. It's on the outside of the outline, just all the way up to the whirligigs, these whirligigs at the toe. And then I'm going to follow through with my graphite on the curve at the bottom. What you will notice is there's no vines and whirly ribbons and all the things that Nikki did last week with the letter I. I've gone for a fairly straight design here, and I'm just going to apply a bit of graphite through there. What I am going to do is rub that bit out because I don't want that. Move that off, and I did go too far with that one as well. Then it's our trusty tortillon. We all know and love the tortillon. We all know how to use it as well. So I'm just going to go up and down. Sorry, I'll turn my tortillon around. Up and down just to get the graphite moving on the outside of the letter. Just a little bit. I'm going to turn my card because it's easy for me to just follow around the curve. Remember, card does move, everyone. You can move it. It's not an issue. So I wonder what you've all been up to today. Hopefully you've caught up with your chores and whatever else you've needed to do. And had a good day. Enjoyed it being the weekend, hopefully. So yeah, so we'll just do a little bit. We'll curve it around. And we'll shade it out. Doesn't matter if the shading goes around over your whirligigs, it's not a problem, but I do want to bring the graphite. I've got enough on my tortillon now to bring it around the toe of my J. And you hear that noise when the tortillon's rubbing, shading out and rubbing on the card. It's lovely, isn't it? I think we all get a bit carried away. So let's just now do a little bit of swirling. Now I've got it moving. Just want to swirl it out a bit more. Okay, I'm going to turn it again and bring the swirling out. Now if you wanted to, you could ground this letter by just putting a bit of graphite going this way. If you wanted to. I'm going to leave mine. I quite like it floating in the sky because my background is blue. Looks like I've got a sky background. So I'm quite happy to leave mine floating. A floating, fireworky, sparkly J. You could get your glitter pens on this, your gel pens on it. Our new Sanntangle glitters that Sandra brought to us last year. There's that as well that you could bring to it. Or you could go traditional with your coloured pencils, dark edition. For those of you that enjoy your watercolour pencils, why not try the watercolour pencils and see what that looks like. So there you have it, is letter J. I didn't want to spend too long this evening because I appreciate that Saturday evenings are precious for people. But that gives you something, hopefully, something to work with, something to add your own spin to it. You can copy this like for like or put your own idea to it. But have a think about it and see what you can do with it. I'll show you the original one that I did, that I started playing around with. That was the initial idea. As you can see, I put a frame around it with the coloured fine liners, and I did different colours. So I went orange here, green for a little bit, raspberry pink all the way around, green here in the middle, and orange at the top. And then I did a thinner J. This was my practice one, I did a thinner line on the leg of the J, and then I just did a few ideas and dotted them around. But then the other thing that you could do with the J, if you don't like that idea of it being random and free like that, I then went a little bit more traditional and a little bit gothic, and I put a frame around this one. I divided the centre up into grid squares, and I kind of used the grid squares paper as a bit of inspiration, and some of the patterns that Sandra had got in those in that booklet. So there's different things that you could do. I am going to do one of the letters going forward will be a Gothic style, but I thought this would be a little bit different, free and easy. It doesn't take too long to do either. But yeah, I will leave it with you to decide what it is you want to do with it. I will post these when I've finished with them. I've got to tweak them, but I will post them so that you've got access to both this video and the still picture. Just remember, everybody, please, this video is only going to be live for the month, for I think 30 days, according to Facebook rules. So please do download it if you want to refer to it after 30 days. I'll try and post an alert to let everybody know that it's about to disappear. And having said that, I believe letter F is about to disappear on Monday, this coming Monday. I think its 30 days are up. So please do have a go, share what you do, post your ideas and go with it, and just, yeah, let your imagination run wild. But thank you, everybody, for giving up your Saturday evening for half an hour. I do appreciate it. And Nikki will be back next weekend with letter K. I've no idea how many vines, how many whirls and ribbons she's going to throw in. But yeah, worth tuning in. Thank you. See you all soon. Bye.